So I was thinking today that I'd focus a little bit on twists more than usual, and maybe work on the hands as well. So I know a lot of people, they do a lot of computer work, so they have wrist issues. So we'll work on do some wrist strengthening and just talk about wrists a little bit. Dedication. Usually I quite like to do a dedication more in intent, sort of have a purpose for the practice. So I haven't really thought about one today, but let's just sort of hope most of us can stay healthy. I know a lot of people have joined from India or have parents and family in India, and I hear that their cases are going up, and they've just sort of, there's no lockdown anymore, so it's going to be interesting, if that's not the right word, to see what happens there. So good luck to India. Anyway, so we're going to start seated. Just find a comfortable seated position. And I tend, I don't know if you notice, I just sort of move around a lot until I can find a comfortable seated position. Sort of wiggling on my sit bones. I'm bringing the hip forward, and I'm just trying to open the collarbones, relax the shoulders, and then getting tall. Hands are resting on the knees, and then we're just going to focus on the breath. So most of the time we're going to breathe in and out through the nose. It's not always true in yoga, but mostly that's the case. So we're going to start focusing on the breath. Inhaling through the nose, pulling that air in, filling the lungs. Trying to pull in as much air as you can. Exhale through the nose, try and make the exhale just as long as the inhale. Inhaling through the nose. And then exhale. So there's different kinds of breathing techniques, and there's two or three that I focus on. One is Ujjayi breathing, which is the kind of breathing technique that I like to do when we're doing the flow in particular. But it doesn't hurt to practice it while we're sitting here. Some people call it ocean breath because you're making the sound of the ocean. You're restricting the flow of air slightly through the throat as you inhale and exhale. It's as if, it was described to me once, is when you're inhaling through the nose, you're trying to make an R sound. And when you're exhaling, a SA sound. So let's try that. We're inhaling through the nose, we're trying to make that R sound. We're exhaling through the nose and we're trying to make that SA sound. So you can hear your own breath. It's not like it's super loud, but it is audible. So let's take a few more rounds of Ujjayi breathing. Another thing with the breath is we're using the breath not only when we're moving from one pose to another, which we do in the vinyasa because we're going to do some flow, so we want to synchronize the movement with the breath. But like if we take a stretch, so let's place the right hand over to the right side. Now we use the breath, we're inhaling, we're trying to get taller and taller on the inhale, and then we go deeper into the stretch on the exhale. Inhale, getting length. Exhale a little deeper if it feels good. On that exhale. 2 or 3 breaths. Inhale, come up, and then we exhale to the other side. Getting tall on the inhale, going deeper into the stretch on the exhale. 2 or 3 breaths this side. Inhale coming up. And then we're just going to place the hands back on the knees, just work the shoulders a little bit. So the same with twists. You want to get length on the inhale, go deeper into the twist on the exhale. Now the first twist of the class, we're not totally warmed up, so it's going to just be a gentle twist. So we're going to twist to the right side. I'm placing one hand on the outside of the knee, other hand behind. Inhale, get tall, exhale into the twist. Just an easy twist. And we inhale out of the twist, and we exhale over to the other side. Inhale back to center. So sometimes people get confused, especially when we're doing the flow, is when do we breathe in and out? Now the way I remember it is when you need space, you can stay seated. When we need space, like when we've got lots of space, we can breathe in because we're expanding, we're getting bigger as we breathe in. Now when we need the space, we exhale. We inhale, we've got space, we exhale as we leave the space. So that's just the thing to remember. If you suddenly forget, well, should I be breathing in or out? If you forget, it doesn't work for you, just breathe. Don't hold the breath, so that's the main thing. But basically, we breathe in because we've got lots of space, and we breathe out because we need a little bit more space. Let's just take the hands, interlace the fingers, push the palms in my direction, pull the shoulders back, get tall. So we're stretching the hands out. As I said, we're going to work on the hands a little bit, we're going to work on twists. Well, focus is a little bit more on those than usual. There's obviously other stuff we're going to do as well. We're going to bring the arms up, keeping the fingers interlaced. I'm trying to bring the arms either side of the ears. Keep the shoulders happy. And maybe look up towards the ceiling. We keep the fingers interlaced, we bring the arms down, we turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Now this time I'm just focusing on the hands. I'm keeping the arms relaxed. Some people will bring the elbows up, shoulders up. So keep those shoulders relaxed, keep the elbows in, just stretching the hands out and the fingers. Now what happens here is the thumb is missing out on this one, it's not getting stretched out. So what I'll do is I'll give the thumb a little bit of an extra stretch so it doesn't feel like it's left out. And then I'll stretch out the other thumb. Next, so we're doing a little bit of handwork here. We bring the thumb into the palm and we clasp the thumb. We rest the arms, little finger side down, resting the forearms onto the knees, and we just turn in the knuckles towards the ground. So we're getting a stretch on the outside of the wrist on the thumb side. Hold here for about 3 or 4 breaths. And then we're going to bring the back of the hands together. We're going to try and keep the wrists nice and close to each other as we just rotate in one direction. Try and keep contact with the wrists. I do about 3 or 4 rotations in one direction. And then I rotate in the other direction. And then we just shake the hands out. Now this time we're going to interlace the fingers again. I'll tell you what, let's interlace them the other way. Sometimes you just always do it one way, interlace them the other way. A little bit weird, but try that. And then we're going to stretch the wrists out opposite ways for each wrist. And we're just going to go back and forth like this. And then we're going to bring the fingers together, so the fingers are lightly touching. You're trying to make a sphere. If you've got long fingernails, it's probably going to be more of a steeple, but if you're short fingernails, a sphere. I'm lightly touching the fingers together. You inhale, and on the exhale, we're pushing those fingers into each other as much as you can. Inhale, release slightly, release the pressure. Exhale, we push those fingers into each other. Inhale, release. Exhale, we push those fingers into each other. Now this time just hold it, hold that pressure. So my mom used to be a pianist, and I always recall that she used to do these strengthening exercises to strengthen the hands to help with the piano playing. And then we're going to release, shake the hands out. Another thing I like to do is I've just got the thumb touching the index finger, and then I'll touch each other finger in turn. Index, middle, ring, middle finger, and then back to the index finger. So I'm just touching each finger. And you can see how fast you can go. Okay, one more hand stretch before we move on. So we're going to come onto our knees. This is more of a wrist stretch. So the toes are touching, the knees apart. I'm going to bring the hands between the knees. Fingers are pretty wide apart, little fingers touching. And we're trying to bring the palm of the hands down. So this is a nice stretch of the wrists. I have pretty tight wrists, so I feel this a lot. Some of you, if you're super flexible, you might not feel much. So, you guys are lucky, you've got open wrists. But, sometimes you have to be careful if you've got open wrists. I'll show you why in a minute. If this feels really tight, first of all, don't let it hurt. But if you feel the stretch and it's a little bit too much, you just bring the sit bones higher, it'll relieve the stretch. And if you want to go deeper, you bring the sit bones a little bit lower down. So I usually stretch the wrists out like this before going into crow, which we may or may not do today, we'll see. After I stretch the hands out like that, I bring the back of the hands together, and sometimes I'll do that rotation, but we've already done that. And then we'll shake the hands out. So what happens a lot, let's bring the arms up either side, so stretching the hands. And sometimes people, I'll say engage the arms, engage the wrists. Some people try a bit too hard, they start bringing the fingers up like that. That actually is not so good for the hands, especially if you have carpal tunnel or something like that. So always when we're extending the arms, whether it's just like this or triangle or warrior poses, try and keep the hands nicely lined up with the arms. Downward facing dog, we also want to try and get that line as straight as we possibly can. Relax the shoulders, keep the arms up, breathe. It's interesting, isn't it? You're starting to work a little bit harder. Keep the shoulders relaxed, keep the shoulders soft. And then we're going to take the right arm under the left arm, eagle arms, and we bring the back of the hands parallel or the palms parallel, getting a bit of a shoulder opener. You can bring the arms up, or you can bring the thumb or the fingers to the nose, whatever feels good for you. Hold for about 4 breaths. Nice shoulder opener. We bring the arms up, and then we bring the other arm underneath. And arms up. You can try the arms up just for a second or two, and then see if you can touch the nose. Do whichever one you prefer. And then release, shake everything out. Come on to your hands and knees. So cat-cow. Again, with the breath, it doesn't really matter how you breathe, but the way I do it, I'll inhale as the belly comes down, head comes up. Because you've got lots of space, you can breathe in, and when you want the space, you exhale, taking your chin round in your back. Inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. Inhaling cow, exhaling cat. One more time. Inhale, exhale. Come into neutral, and then we're going to go into puppy dog. Now puppy dog, we try and keep the hips over the knee. We slide the hands forward. Now if you glance up looking at the hands, in puppy dog you can see, the wrists are nicely lined up with the arms, a nice straight line there. And then just tap the chin. So that's really nice to get that nice straight line. Sometimes, as I say, in down dog, you get more of an angle, but we want to try and avoid that, or at least minimize that angle at the wrists. Now let's try this. Now this, if you don't like this, you can just stay in puppy dog. But let's just start sliding the hands forward. You try to keep the hips over the knees, and you're bringing the collarbone and the throat towards the ground. Quite a back stretch. Pull the armpits down towards the ground. Keep the back safe. Breathe. And then just slide the legs back. And we're coming into a forearm plank. So that's quite a shoulder stretch. As I say, if it's too much, you can just hang out in puppy dog. But we can all get into the forearm plank, which we're going to do after Sphinx. So in Sphinx, we tap the toes and we bring those forearms up, trying to keep neutral. Chin is tapped, you're looking towards the mat. You're breathing, core is engaged. Side plank. What I'm going to do, I'm going to face the screen, so I'm going to swivel on one elbow, and so the hand is pointing towards the screen, and I'm bringing the other arm up. Again, we're keeping that top hand nicely lined up. If this is tough, you can bring that top foot down in front of you. If you want more challenge, the top leg comes up. We breathe. We come back into Sphinx, forearm plank, and then side plank on the other side. And then back into forearm plank, and then come down into Sphinx, and then into child's pose briefly. So child's pose, I like to keep the toes touching, a little bit of space between the knees so you can get the ribs lower, and the head is resting. You always want to make sure the head is resting so there's no pressure on the neck, so the head should be on the mat or on the hands, or if you've got a skinny block, you can rest the head on the block. Back onto the hands and knees. So another twist. This is called thread the needle. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the right arm and we take it behind the left arm, and you're lying on the right arm on the right side of the face. Left hand is pushed into the ground, elbow up towards the ceiling. So you're getting a gentle twist here. The more you reach with that bottom arm, the more you push that other hand into the ground, the more you're going to feel that twist, the deeper you can go. Breathe. And then we take thread the needle on the other side. So you thread in the other arm, lying on the arm, lying on the side of the face, reaching, pushing the hand into the ground, just finding the twist that feels good. So I feel it mostly lower back, one side of the lower back. It feels good, don't let it hurt. And then we come out and we're just going to sit on the heels again. So remember, don't do anything that hurts. So keep safe. Let's work on some sun salutations. So we're going to come back on our hands and knees. Actually, let's do down dog first. So downward facing dog. So if you look at my wrist for a minute, just glance at my wrist. See, if I bring my shoulders forward, there's more of an angle here. So I'm trying to straighten that line out as much as I can. The back, we're trying to keep the back neutral. So, if they straighten the legs, if they try and get the heels down, the back starts to round. So bend the knees if you need to, but eventually we're going to get those heels closer and closer towards the ground. Every single finger, especially thumb, index finger, push to the ground, armpits push to the ground, chin is tucked, you're looking towards the belly button. And then we look forward, we walk forward between the hands, we come halfway up, we fold forward, and then we use the breath and core to come up. You can come up with bent knees, or you can come up with the legs straight, if the back is okay with that. Half salutes. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhale, we fold forward again, tucking the chin. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti, mountain pose. Inhale, sweeping those arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale as we fold forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti. Now we've all forgotten about Ujjayi breathing, so let's combine in the movement with Ujjayi breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti. One more. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti. Come to the front of the mat. A little bit of sun salutation A, but slight variation. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. We come into plank. We bring the knees down, chin, chest forward and down. Inhaling into cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Get the feet a little bit closer to each other, a couple of inches between the big toes. Inhale the right leg up to the ceiling. Exhale, see if you can touch the right elbow with the right knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, see if you can touch the left elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to chin. Inhale, extend. And then we're going to switch legs. Inhaling as the other leg comes up. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to chin. Inhale, extend. Top foot joins the bottom foot. Knees come down. And we rest in child's pose. Don't forget, child's pose you can do that anytime if you need to take a break. Hang on, 2 or 3 breaths. And we come back on our hands and knees. Back into downward facing dog. We look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale, sweeping those arms up, looking up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands, we're back into plank. Chaturanga, or knees, chin, chest to ground. Chaturanga, we bring the whole body forward, elbows 90. Upward facing dog, arms straight, hips off the ground. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, we're going to go into a side plank. Knee comes down. We bring the left arm up. We come back into plank. Chaturanga. Inhale into up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale the other leg up. Your left leg probably. Knee down. Side plank other side. Knee down. Easy side plank with the knee down. And then we come back into plank, chaturanga, inhale into up dog, exhale downward facing dog. Don't forget, if chaturanga is too much, do knees down, chin chest towards the ground, and then cobra. Look forward, walk forward between the hands, inhale halfway up, exhale folding forward, inhale coming all the way up, exhale Samasthiti. Stay standing. So we're going to do a similar flow, but instead of side plank, star pose if you want. If you don't like star pose, do the side plank. This is star pose. Just watch. We bring one leg up and we shoot it over to the side, so the hands are lined up, and then we open up like this. And then you can do a couple of push-ups after that if you want. But if you'd rather just do side plank, just fine. Come to the front of the mat. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands, we're back into plank. Chaturanga, inhale into up dog. Exhale, down facing dog. I then bring my feet a little closer to each other. Inhale, I'm inhaling the right leg up. And then I'm bringing the shoulders over the wrists as I bring that knee in, and I shoot the leg over. And then both legs extended, both arms extended. That top hand lined up with the arm, please. Side plank if you prefer. The star pose is quite challenging. And then for the crazy people, we bring the hand down and we do about 3 push-ups. 1, 2, 3. We extend that same leg back and we switch legs, so the leg comes up, and then side plank or star pose on the other side, opening up, bottom shoulder, remember pulling that shoulder in and away from the head, opening the chest, looking up towards the ceiling. We bring the hand down, we do about 3 push-ups. 1, 2, 3. Extend the leg. Top foot joins the bottom foot, knees come down, and we take child's pose. And just relax. Come up, don't get too comfy. Come up onto the heels. Slide the hands forward. Back into down dog. Walk forward between the hands, inhaling halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Shake everything out. So we're going to go into a chair twist. So chair, we feet are together, at least have the feet parallel, knees are bent. Into chair. And then we're going to bring, I'm twisting to the left, so I'm bringing my right arm onto the outside of the leg. I'm trying to get a little bit of a leverage, pushing the palms together. Take about 3 breaths. I like chair twists. And then we twist in the other direction. We come back into chair, we fold forward, we come halfway up, we plant the hands, we come into plank. Chaturanga, inhaling to up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up, Exhale, we sweep that foot through. We're going to come into warrior one, sweeping those arms up. So last week we did the warrior poses. We focused on that a little bit more. We did warrior one, which is this one. We did warrior two, which is this one. So warrior two, I readjust my back foot slightly so that my hips are facing in your direction, but I'm looking over that front knee. We did reverse warrior, but I'm going to add, I found this on YouTube, where we add a little bit of revolve. So this time the right knee is forward, left hand is sliding down the back leg. We're getting a stretch on these ribs, right ribs. So what we're going to do, come back into warrior two, and we're going to take the other hand, so we're adding a twist, and do a little bit of a reverse action at the same time. See how that feels. And then we come back into warrior two. It's only the second time I've incorporated that pose into a class. Reverse warrior again, and then we're going to flow to the other side. We come into plank, chaturanga, inhaling to up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up, exhale, we sweep that foot through, we're back into warrior one on the other side. And then we do warrior two. So we're going to skip warrior three this time. Reverse warrior, breath or two, stretching at the side of the body. And then we come back into warrior two, and we will add that little revolved version. Interesting position. We come back into warrior two, reverse warrior, and then we flow into plank. We drop into chaturanga, we inhale into up dog, we exhale downward facing dog, we hold down dog. Down dog feels good now. Breathe. Chin tucked, looking at the belly button. We look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale into chair. Exhale, back into Samasthiti. Another chair twist, and then we're going to go into crescent twist. So let's see how this goes. We bend the knees, we bring the arms up. So when I get into the chair twist, what I actually like to do is I'm pushing that left hand into the leg so I can get a little deeper into that twist. We can start going deeper into the twist. I can get a little bit more leverage. We're then going to focus on the feet. So if you're twisting to the left, you're going to take the right foot back, tricky maneuver sometimes, into a high lunge twist or crescent twist. We're breathing. We bring the hands down. We come back into plank, chaturanga, inhaling to up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. We look forward, we jump or walk forward between the hands. We come halfway up, we fold forward, knees stay bent, we're back in chair. And then we take the twist in the other direction. So I'm using the right hand this time. Push into the upper thigh, so I can get a little bit more leverage. And then I focus on the feet, taking the left leg back, crescent twist. Take a breath or two. And then back into plank. Chaturanga, inhaling to up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, which will hold for about 3 breaths. We bend the knees, we look forward, we jump or walk forward between the hands. Inhaling halfway up, exhale, folding forward, knees stay bent, we're back in chair, and then we come all the way up and we shake everything out. So I wish I could be with you guys to see how you're doing, so just take care of yourselves, hopefully this is going fine. So what we're going to do next, we're going to do Trikonasana. We'll just go straight into Trikonasana, we won't bother flowing into it. So we're going to stand here with the legs maybe about 3 feet between each foot. And then we're going to point the right foot to the side. So it's just like the distance between the warrior poses, but instead of having that front knee bent, both legs are going to be straight. And then we're going to hinge at those hips. You can see at the top of the femur, that's where we hinge. Arms come up, we reach, we reach, we reach. You bring the hand down wherever it lands, stay, don't go lower than that. You bring the other arm up. The head is nicely lined up with the back, try not to drop the head, and then you're looking up towards that top hand. And the top hand is lined up with the arm, isn't it? Or it should be. We then, let's come up and bend the knees so we're back into Warrior Two. And we're going to take that back hand, so we're adding Trikonasana, revolve Trikonasana. Actually, I pop that foot in slightly, straighten both legs. And I'm going to bring the hand, you can bring it onto the shin, or you can bring it inside the foot, or outside the foot. If you have a block, if it's on the block, it would be useful. I like to take the hand outside the foot, and then we open up into the revolve Trikonasana. Another twist. Having the hand all the way down on the ground is a challenge, so you might want to just have the hand on the shin. And then we're just going to swivel on the heels. Trikonasana, we reach, and we reach, and we reach. We come down, wherever we land, we stop, other arm comes up, we're looking up towards the ceiling. Keeping nice lines, breathe. Standing legs are active, engaging the quads, you're lifting up the insteps. We come into Warrior Two. I just go into Warrior Two, it's just sort of like a little breather for a minute before we go into the revolved Trikonasana. Then I straighten the leg, maybe hop that back foot in, then we sweep that back hand onto the shin, or the inside of the foot, or you can even take it down onto the ground. Whatever feels good for you, breathe. And then we come out of that twist back into Warrior Two, and since we've got the wee feet apart, we're going to do a wide-legged forward bend. So feet are parallel. We're going to hinge at the hips again, so push into the top of the femurs. Lean forward slightly, keep looking forward, and once you've gone as far as you can, that's when you're going to start tucking the chin and look towards the belly button, bringing the hands onto the mat, so the hands are shoulder width apart, lined up with the feet. Lean slightly forward, take it easy, bit of a challenge on this one. And then bring the hands back onto the hips, engage the core as you come back up. Always when you go down and come back up in those poses, engage that core. That is going to keep the back nice and safe. And then we're going to walk the feet together, heel toe, and we're all in the standing position. Okay, tree. We haven't done tree for a few sessions, so which is unusual because tree is usually one of my favourites. So we're going to be on, let's start on the right foot. The left foot, if you have a challenge with your balance, the left foot can be on the ground, it can be inside the leg below the knee or inside the leg above the knee. Please do not push into the knee joint. We then bring the palms together, palms to chest. Then open the collarbone, and whenever you're ready, arms come up. You probably can't see my arms, but I'm trying to keep the arms parallel. Some people like to bring the hands together, it's totally optional. But there's a lot working in tree. We've got a hip opener. We're strengthening the standing leg, you're engaging the quads, you're having to concentrate just to hold this pose. Another tip on this one is if you focus on something not moving, it helps with the balance. If you're looking at the screen and you see me moving, you're going to move, you might lose the balance. So just find something to focus on the ground. And then we bring the arms down, we bring the legs down, we shake everything out. On the other side, so I'm on the left foot, right foot on the ground, below the knee, inside the leg, or below or above the knee, again inside the leg. If it's above the knee, the nice thing is you can feel, or you should be able to feel those inner quads working, try and get them to work. You can broaden across the collarbone, arms up whenever you're ready. Keep that standing leg engaged, breathe. And I say, as if you focus on something that's not moving, it will help with the balance, or at least it should. And then we come out of tree and we shake everything out. Well, we did eagle arms earlier, so why don't we do the full eagle? Also, we've done lots of chair poses, so it's a combination of those two basically. So we bring the arms up. I work on the arms first, so I'm going to bring the right arm under the left arm. I get the hands parallel, the back of the hands or the palms, and then we come into chair. So if the right arm is under the left, that means the right leg comes on top. You squeeze those legs together and you try and hook that foot. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Then you center the arms, maybe go a little bit lower, and then you can see if you can touch the nose with the thumb and you can breathe in. Just like chair, just like tree pose, there's a lot going on this, but there's more of a hip opener on this one. And you're opening the upper back. You should feel a stretch between the shoulder blades on this one. And we release, we shake everything out. And we're going on the other side. Extend the arms, keeping the hands nicely lined up with the arms. Left under right, into chair. And you can stop here if you don't have to add the legs if you don't want. But if you want to add the legs, we bring the left leg on top, you squeeze those legs together, and maybe you can hook that foot. If the knee's good. Don't go too hard if you have a sensitive knee. We're breathing. We get a nice hip stretch, nice shoulder stretch on this one. And then we're really shaking everything out. Come back onto your mat. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands, we're back into plank. Hold plank. So I'm walking the feet back, I'm getting the heels directly over the toes. I'm pushing the hands into the ground, shoulders up, so try not to sink between the shoulder blades. Try and lift those shoulders up towards the ceiling. Chin is tucked, you're looking directly at the ground. You're breathing, back is neutral. Right hand to center, side plank. If you want, top foot down or the bottom knee down. If you want more challenge, top leg comes up, you're breathing. So my take on yoga is we're trying to strengthen as well as increase flexibility. Other side, through plank, and then side plank on the other side. As I say, bottom knee down, top foot down, or you can bring the top leg up if you want more challenge. We come back into plank, and then we're going to come into child's pose. And then we can slowly come up. So we did earlier we did the chair twist and then the crescent twist. Another way to get into crescent twist is just to come from the lunge. So come into down dog. Bring the, you can bring your right leg up if you want. I'll do the left, but you bring the right leg up. Whichever, I don't care which leg. Bring that foot forward, back knee down, and from here we can take the twist. So that same technique is I using the hand so I can get into a deeper twist. And then we bring the hands together. And if you want, you can bring the back knee off the ground. So we're back in that crescent twist. Take about 3 breaths. And then we bring the hands down. And we're just going to switch legs. You can do a quick switch if you want. I get bouncy, engage the core, and then I switch. Knee comes down, we take the twist. And if you want a little bit more challenge, the bottom knee comes up. And then the knee comes down. We come back into plank, chaturanga, inhaling into up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. And then we're just going to bring the knees down, we lean over, and we're going to come onto our backs. So as I said, a lot of twists today. On your back. Pull the knees in close and just rock from side to side. Bring the feet down to the ground. Bring the left leg, I've got this bloody band-aid here. Bring the left foot onto the right leg. So we're making, I call this a figure 4 shape. And this top foot is flexed, dorsiflexion. We're going to take hold of the back of that left leg and pull the legs in. So we're getting another hip stretch. Keep the chin tucked, so you're lining up the neck with the back, pulling those legs in. Recline pigeon. This is a nice one. And you can try rocking from side to side if you want. See how that feels. And then we switch sides. Right foot is flexed. Take hold of the back of the left leg, pull the legs in. So we're trying to keep the tailbone down, we're keeping the head on the ground, chin is tucked. Arms are working a lot on this one. And if you want a little bit more stretch, you can push the forearm onto the inside of the leg, just to get a little bit more leverage. And then we release. We're going to come into happy baby, so we're going to hold on to the feet. You can hold on to the outside or the inside of the feet. Head again, head is down, tailbone is low if you can. Legs pretty wide, so the legs are coming outside the hips, the ribs. I'm trying to get the knees closer and closer towards the ground. And then if you want, you can try and straighten the legs, holding onto the feet, or you can even hold onto the big toes. Trying to get into a wide V position with the legs. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Sometimes the shoulders tense up doing this, so just pull the shoulders down and you're breathing. If the knees are bent, no worries, but eventually you're going to be able to straighten the legs. and we release. We take hold of the legs and we come into boat, Navasana. We do this quite a lot. It's a nice core strengthening pose. You're trying to get the back neutral. You can have the knees bent, you can hold on to the legs. So if you're not used to this pose, you can just hang out like this. If you've got a good core, you can bring the arms either side of the legs and you can straighten the legs a little bit more. If you're shaking, which is happening, I'm shaking a little, it means you're working. But the back should be happy. If it bothers the back, please hold on to the legs, don't let it bother the back. And then we're slowly going to come down. Not all the way. So you're going to keep the legs straight. So the legs are straight, the heels are an inch or two off the ground, hands behind the head. You're pushing the lower back into the ground. Abs of steel. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we slowly come down. And we release. That's a tough one. I'm always amazed at how challenging that one is. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. One more, inhale. Exhale. And then just continue breathing in and out through the nose. Okay, one final twist. We're going to stay on our backs. So let's extend the right leg, pull the left knee in nice and close. And then I'm actually shifting the hips an inch or two over to the left as the knee goes in the opposite direction. So my left knee over to the right side, and I'm extending my left arm, palm facing up. I'm pulling that left shoulder away from the ears, trying to keep that shoulder grounded, breathing, recline twist. We release, knees come in, and we just rock from side to side. And then we take the twist in the other direction, so you can extend the left leg on the ground. You pull the right knee in. I'm shifting my hips an inch or two over to the right side. Right knee over to the left as I'm extending my right arm. Palm is up, shoulder down, shoulder down, away from the head, shoulder blade tucked in. I'm looking over that shoulder towards the extended arm. Breathe. And my left hand is just encouraging that right knee close to the ground. You have to work at twists. Breathe. We come out of the twist. Knees pulled in again, and we rock from side to side. And then we're just going to bring the feet down to the ground. So we're going to take the feet pretty wide apart, wider than hips. So we're just going to do windshield wipers. Arms either side. We're just going to take the knees from side to side. Pretty slow. And again, we're trying to move with the breath. So we're inhaling as the knees come up. Exhale as they go down. Inhale up, exhale down. And just do that a few more times. We bring the legs back to center. We're going to take a full body stretch. Extend the legs. Bring the arms over the head. Trying to get as much length as you can. And then try and get a little bit more length. So I'm actually doing, I liken this to a caterpillar movement. I'm pushing the heels into the ground. I'm lifting the hips up, pulling the hips away from the heels. Then I push the head into the ground. I lift up my back and pull my back away from the hips. Finally, the head comes up, chin tucked, and lower the head. So just trying to get a bit more traction. Do that again if you want. Hips away from the feet, back away from the hips, and then lengthen the neck. If you want a little side stretch, you get into a banana shape. Stretching at one side of the body. And then other side, banana shape on the other side. And then we come into Shavasana. Bringing the arms either side of you, palms up, eyes closed. Try and keep length in the neck. And just relax. So we had a good session of twists today. Remember, with the twists, we're trying to get length, inhaling, and then we're trying to get that length before we go into that twist. Shavasana, we're just letting ourselves sink into the ground, relaxing the whole body. Try not to hold tension anywhere. And just scan the body out, working from the feet up. That's my preference. Relaxing the feet, the legs, the hips, the back, shoulders, the arms are relaxed, face is soft. You're just letting yourself sink into the ground. If the lips are dry, you can moisten the lips. And then focus on the breath. Shavasana helps us to assimilate the practice that we've just had. It calms the body, slows down the breath. If you want to stay in Shavasana longer, go for it. If you're ready to come out, start walking the feet in. Roll over to one side. And then just gently come into a seated position. As most of you know, I usually end the class with 2 breaths, 3 arms. So bring the palms together, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, Om. Bring the hands to the forehead. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, everyone.